Hi, my beautiful friends and family. I just got done with church and I went to eat with some dear family of mine, friends who are a family, adopted family, and best kind of people. And especially when they choose you. But I just wanted to hop on here and share my 3-minute word of the day. Oh, little black bug. Oh, no. Oh, sorry, they hurt so bad. I'm not a bug girl. Anyway, all right. Sorry. I just wanted to hop on here and share my 3-minute word of the day. And I wanted to just say, trust in God and trust in His leadings, and understand that sometimes our ways aren't His ways, and sometimes when we want something done, it's not always it's God's timing. And we've always heard that. But so I'm driving to church this morning, and it's about an hour and a half away to go to church. And I stopped and got me a coffee, and I was like, okay, if I leave by X amount of time, then that'll give me just enough time to be like 5 minutes early. And I'm like, yay, I've never really been 5 minutes early. But anyway, so I'm like stopped and got the coffee, and then I was going to walk out the door, and I seen there was a husband and wife team that used to do nursery with me, and I did it for 10 years with him and his wife. And it was the husband, and the kids called him Mr. D, which her name was D, Mrs. D or whatever. So they called her Mr. D, because little kids, that's how they associate things with. Anyway, and so I seen him, and we ended up talking, and he was telling me about his kids and how they actually teach special ed, in the town, one of the towns over that I live, and the other daughter teaches at the other town. And he was just telling me how old the kids were, and just catching up, and it was, I don't know, probably 10-15 minutes. I haven't seen them for 10 years or something like that. Just a wonderful couple, such sweet people in the Lord. And so that had taken past the 15-20 minute mark, because I'm the type of person, unfortunately, that, usually if I'm 5 minutes early, I'm good, but usually I'm going to be right on time. And so it's kind of like wait until the last minute, so stopping to get coffee, it's just going to put me like 5 minutes early. Well, I ended up talking for 10 or 15 minutes, and then, I didn't think much of it. And I get in my car to leave, and I'm probably about 45 minutes into my trip, to drive to church this morning, And so I'm driving to church, and, I always just, when I go on the road, I always just pray that God would send angels to protect me, and that, God keep me safe on the road. And so, I'm driving, and so, I'm at a spot where this truck is in front of me, and I can't see the car in front of him, but and then there's there's 2 lanes, and then there's 3 cars like back to back, like right, bam bam bam, where you can't see around them, we're just, and then in the other lane there was a car parallel right next to me, right? So, and then a car in front of him, because it was going 80 down the highway. And so I caught a glimpse of the car in front of, it goes me, a truck, and then a little car. Well, I'm back here, and then the truck is right here, and then you got the little car in front. Well, I happened to catch a glimpse of the little car's 4-ways are on, and I couldn't see what was ahead of me. So I couldn't see and past the truck. All I could see was the truck in front of me. I couldn't see any further than that, but I happened to catch a glimpse of his 4-ways go on, and I don't know what's going on. And all I can see is that there's a truck. The truck's in front of me, and then, everybody starts slowing down. Well, because I seen the 4-ways, I started slowing down, because I'm like, distress. Let's, whatever's going on, slow down, which I'm very thankful that guy put on his 4-ways. And because of that, I slowed down enough that the truck on the other side, so the car was right next to me, and then the one right next to me, there was one in front. So it was, side by side. So if somebody was sitting here right next to me, that would be, the two cars were like this, and then there was, two cars in front of us. Well, the car not the one next to me, but the one next in front of him, the tire had blown, and all of a sudden it like happened so fast, but the tire blew, and you could see the smoke, and he was trying to get off the road, but happened so fast. But because God's divine protection and that guy putting on his four-way lights had caused me to slow down. But you see, that's how God works in our life. He's like that car that's in front of the car. So it goes me, the truck, and then the car. So God is like that third car in front of me. He can see the way perfectly, but I can't. He knows there was danger ahead. So he caused me to be a little bit late and meet somebody and end up talking for 20 minutes. But then I was like, okay, well, or 10 minutes or whatever it was, but I'm going to be late because of it. But instead of, being angry about being late, I was like, okay, I try to just be thankful that God's protection is there. And there's sometimes delay means protection, or delay means, doesn't mean denial. It means just, we need to wait for something. And God's really speaking to me about his delay and his timing being perfect. And so even though I didn't quite understand it when I was back there talking, but then I was like, oh, I gotta go, I'm going to church. But in my head, I didn't think that the whole time. We were just talking and catching up, telling me about all of his kids, and they were just all doing great, which is awesome. And one of his daughters is a special ed teacher, and even great, they're just amazing people. But God is like that car, he sometimes can't, he sees what's ahead of you. He directs the footsteps of a righteous man, and and he orders the footsteps of a righteous, and because, I ran into Mr. D on the way out, I had talked to him for 15 minutes, but God's delay is sometimes protection. So because, he was there at that exact moment, I talked to him, and it ended up being that, saved my life. That truck blew a tire right beside me, and that guy, God, really I just want to say, sometimes you don't understand why you're going through things, or why you have to take the long way around sometimes, or why there's a red light after red light, or whatever the case may be. It might just be God's timing and his protection to protect you for something that you don't see. That's just like they said, when friends fall away or whatever, you don't understand why they are no longer your friends anymore. Well, it's because God's seen conversations was in the room of conversations that you weren't a part of. And he knew that some people can't go to that next season with you. So I just want to say, trust in God's timing, and just bask in his will, and just learn to just give control to him. And it's the hardest thing you'll ever have to learn. But once you just keep doing it and keep trusting him, it becomes easier and easier. So that's well past my 3-minute word of the day. But I just love you guys, and I just thank you, and I hope you guys just have a great day. I love you all. Bye.